Avengers The Kang Dynasty from Marvel Studios, or whatever Avengers 5 inevitably ends up being called, will have almost no relation to the title they had in mind, according to reports. Because the going consensus and rumor is that Avengers 5 is called Avengers Secret Wars Part 1. So from what I'm to understand by reading a couple reports and what scoopers are saying, this is my story and somebody else is adding on and somebody else is taking away, is that Marvel Studios is going back to what they thought was going to work with Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and Part 2. And essentially that they want to use that mold to sort of give us a back-to-back release of two Avengers films, but they want the first film to be big because the second film will be even bigger. And like Infinity War, when it evolved, so Avengers Endgame was bigger, apparently the idea now is just call the first film, aka Avengers 5, Avengers Secret Wars Part 1, and then call Part 2 Avengers Secret Wars Part 2. Release them within a year of each other, possibly even 6 months again. I heard that's been rumored. And well, here we go. Yeah, sure, why not? I mean, it will probably work, especially if it's true that they are pivoting really, really hard in terms of what Avengers 5 is. I mean, that makes sense, right? Especially if they're gonna start shooting pretty close to one another. Reportedly, once Avengers 5 is done, they're moving quickly into 6. Everything's got to be in place because that's how they did the last two films that released a year apart. And clearly, when they announced both initially in the initial announcement, the idea was to shoot both at the same time because they were only 6 months apart for a release. So getting back to maybe something like that makes sense, and also trying to get away from anything Kang in the title, it makes sense that maybe you just call it Secret Wars and there you go. It's an easy way to look at what they got, and then an easier way to just go, you know what? Secret Wars seems to be everything that everybody wants. Let's just do that, but split it in two. That way, literally have that middle be the big cliffhanger, just like Infinity War, that leads straight to Endgame. So Secret Wars Part 1 ends, Incursion, a world is destroyed, 2 picks up, well, now we're all out war, Battle World style. I think it's kind of all here, right? So it's like a Secret Wars light. And if that's the case, yeah, that sounds great.